Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I cook chicken pozole, and I will show you all of the ingredients and everything I do to make this very delicious, yummy dish. And also don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos, as I'm hoping to do many more of these cooking videos, so please leave your comments below. Let me know if you've made this or if you have any questions about the recipe. I would love to hear the way you make it, if you make it any different than I do, so please comment below. Here is all the things you will need to make this pozole. This is a large cooking pot. You will want something bigger because this makes quite a bit. A small cooking pot, something to cook the peppers in, a blender, any type should do, and a strainer. I have a small one, but you could use any size. A bowl. I do need more than one bowl, so I should have posted that. A mixing bowl, a large soup spoon, a fork, and a knife. The ingredients you'll need are a large chicken breast. I have this one here. And you will also need guajillo dried chilies, a bigger bag, japones dried chilies, and ancho dried chilies. You'll need quite a few of those. You'll need some garlic, some onion, some potatoes, some salt, and some white hominy, which is also maiz blanco. For this recipe, these are all the ingredients that go in the actual pozole, and then you will need shredded cabbage, some limes, and some tostadas are all for the finishing and when you're ready to eat the product. Or the soup. To get started, you're going to take your large cooking pot and you're going to put 3/4 water up to the top, depending on the size of your pot, how much you'll actually need. Then you're going to put your chicken breast in there and you're going to go ahead and boil the chicken so that you can shred it later. I usually boil it for about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, depending on how big the chicken breast is, so that way you can shred it later. While the chicken is boiling, we're going to go ahead and take all the seeds out of all of the peppers. So out of the guajillo peppers, you're going to need 10 of those. And out of the japones peppers, you're going to use 8. And then out of the ancho peppers, you are going to use 3. You can always change this around. If you don't have all 3 peppers, you can just use the guajillo peppers and maybe just use 10 or 15 of them instead. But what I'm going to do is cut off all the tops and take all of the seeds out before I rehydrate them in the boiling water. While I'm doing this, I also have the pot on the stove that is boiling up with the water to rehydrate these, so then when that's boiling, I can toss in all of these peppers. Also, just as a side note, while you're doing these peppers, I should have been wearing gloves, because you have to be careful what you touch after you are doing these peppers, because it was like an hour later and I touched my eye and I still must have had some of the residue on my finger and it burned like crazy. So just be sure to either wear gloves or wash your hands immediately after. Once you have the smaller pot boiling with water, you're going to go ahead and dump in all of the dried chilies that you just took all the seeds out of. You're going to put them all in this pot, and then once they're in there, you're going to let them boil for about 20 minutes, and then you're going to turn off the heat and let them just steep in the hot water for another 10 or so they get nice and soft, and you can put them in the blender and they get really nice and pureed. Once the chicken has been boiling for a little while, you're going to want to skim off all the impurities that come off the top. They're going to come up to the top and look like kind of a yucky colored foam. You're going to want to go ahead and use your spoon and just take all those off and put them in a bowl or a plate on the side. We're not going to be using that, but you don't want that in your pozole either. It tastes better when you take all of that stuff out. So just make sure that you take it out. You may have to do this a couple times. You may only have to do it once. You'll just have to see how much your chicken lets out. As the chicken is boiling, I'm going to go ahead and peel my 4 potatoes, and then I'm going to cut them up and dice them into smaller pieces so that they're about the size of my shredded chicken when I put those all together in the pozole. You don't have to use potatoes if you don't want to. Some people do, some people don't. I like the potatoes because I think when they get all of the juice soaked into them, they taste really good. So I use 4 small ones here. Sometimes if I have bigger potatoes, I'll only use 2. Just kind of depends on what you have. So here I'm just cutting everything up and gonna make them into smaller kind of diced potatoes, and I will show you later when I add those to the pot. I am now going to cut up half of an onion and get it diced up, and I'm going to be putting this in the blender along with the 2 tablespoons of the already minced garlic and then a tablespoon of salt, and that way I have the stuff in the blender ready for when all the dried chilies are cooked and I can get them all pureed. Once all the chiles have been boiled, I will put them in the blender and puree them, and then I will use the strainer over a bowl, and I will pour everything that's in the blender into the strainer so that you can start getting out all of just the liquid, and you can leave all of the outside of the peppers and the skins and stuff still in the strainer. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it in there, and then I'm going to use a spoon and I'm going to push down, keep pushing down through to get all the liquid out of there, and then leave all the skins of the peppers still in the top of the strainer so that we can use just the liquid for the pozole. Also, sometimes when you have larger chicken breasts, you want to make sure that you flip the chicken over so that each side gets boiled evenly, so then when you're shredding it, all the chicken is cooked equally. So here I'm just showing you that I flipped over the chicken breast that I had because it was a very large one. Alright, so now that your chicken is boiled, you're going to take it out and you're going to put it in the large mixing bowl and get it shredded. Shred it nice and fine, and then you're going to go ahead and put it back in the water that it was boiling in, because it tastes a lot better, I think, when you use all that water that has the chicken already in there instead of using a stock. And so you put the chicken back in there, then you're going to go ahead and put all of your potatoes in, and you're going to put in your can of the hominy. You're going to dump that in there, and sometimes you might need a spoon to get the bottom pieces out. I did have to do that off of camera. And then you're going to go ahead and pour in the juice that you got from your dried peppers. You're not going to put in the skins, just the juice, the bottom part that's strained out. And then you're going to go ahead and give everything a really nice stir so that everything gets mixed around in there. And then you're going to let it come to a boil, and you're going to put the top on and turn down the heat into a low heat so that it can just simmer and everything can cook together. And you're going to leave it simmering, cooking for about 45 minutes or so, at least, depending on the size of your potatoes, so that everything can seep together and the potatoes can cook. And here is the finished product. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I hope it gives you some fun ideas for cooking and an easy way to make pozole. You can do it kind of however you want, use whatever ingredients you want, but this is how I do it. And then there on the side I put the cabbage, the limes, and the tostadas, and some salt, because my husband always likes to add salt to his. But besides that, it is ready to eat as is. You can also put crema or something on top if you'd like. Otherwise, this is how we like to eat it in our house. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time.